know more about ethanol fuels, E10 and E85. They're starting to sell E85 here in Nebraska because, you know, we're a corn-growing state, and there's quite a few ethanol plants being here, and already, and more are being built. Now, one of my questions is does that help keep the injectors clean? You know, I know there's a lot of that we don't know about ethanol yet.
Injectors clean. I want to be as clear as I can on this. What happens to a car happens more because of the emissions control, and I'm sorry, what happens to inside an engine and affects the car's performance happens more so because of what's going on inside the engine, not what's coming from outside the engine. And what I mean by that, it's not the fuel that causes the problem. It's the EGR, which stands for exhaust gas recirculation, combined with the oil smoke from the bowels of the engine, the PCV system, which is really the most outstanding emissions free device or procedure or system. That's the word I'm hunting for. It's the best system that's ever been put on an engine because it's a positive crankcase ventilation system, and it literally, rather than oil smoke. You know, when you cook, you've got an oven, you've got the hood over your stove, right? And you go to a big restaurant. In fact, it was in the commercial kitchen. Most of the cost for all those stainless steel hoods, in addition to the automatic fire system, a sprinkler system, are the big hoods, and these hoods get really dirty with grease. That's when you cook food, that grease rises. The interior of an engine heats the oil. The oil permeates the complete engine, and the engine mouth of the engine, the lungs of the engine, suck that oil vapor and burn it, rather than put it outside in the emissions, just like they draw vapors from the gasoline. Gasoline is not... in 1965, a car that sat in a driveway in the hot sun all day long would produce more emissions and pollution than today's car on a round trip from New York to D.C. with the engine shut off. A 65 model. Why? Because the gasoline tank would vent to the atmosphere and emissions would escape into the atmosphere. That doesn't happen today. So just for you to understand, it's not the gasoline. Now, will ethanol burn more cleanly than gasoline? And I'm not an expert on that, so I don't have any in front of me, which I don't use notes anyway. But I don't have in front of me any chemical analysis of before and after, but I do know that ethanol is a solvent, so I would have to think that it would burn more cleanly. And I do know that methanol, of course, is really a more powerful fuel, and that's what they use in Indy cars. As far as your state of Nebraska, I think that's terrific. But let me share this with you. The state of California is talking about flex fuels, and Chevron is talking about flex fuels, and they decided that they were going to move forward and really put a lot of stations in there. So they had a 300 or 400% increase in stations. They went from 1 to 4 stations. So if Nebraska, the corn-growing state of Nebraska, hats off to Nebraska. E85, which is a 85% ethanol blend of gasoline, I believe is the long-term answer, part of the long-term answer to the fuel crisis and the oil crisis that we're in now. And I thank you for your call, Fred.
Bobby Likis here with my 10 most wanted car killers. These are deadly deposits that build up in your car's fluids, literally destroying it from the inside. That's why you need BG at your next scheduled maintenance. BG services thoroughly clean and flush harmful, corrosive, car-killing deposits and protect your vehicle from further accumulation. Go to bgfindashop.com for my 10 most wanted car killers and to find a shop with BG near you.
Come on, Ryan. Let's go shopping.
Can we have ice cream, Mommy?
Can we have dinner first?
Yes. Wow.
Royal Purple high-performance synthetic motor oil outlasts conventional oil, so you spend less time changing it.
I need an oil change. Can you use Royal Purple?
Yeah, the high-performance oil.
Right.
For fewer oil changes, better mileage, reduced emissions, and longer engine life, Royal Purple, the performance oil that outperforms.
I want ice cream.
Let's take a call from Janet. Welcome to Car Clinic. You're on the air.
Okay. I've got a question. I've got a 84 Thunderbird.
Okay.
We've replaced the alternator, and since then, the headlights has been really dim. I've drove it at night, and I've had to use the bright lights.
Wow.
And no one's ever gave me bright lights back, because they've been too bright. So, does the headlights gradually go out? I've had them to go out before, completely out.
Well, a headlight doesn't, like a candle. You know how a candle, if I read you correctly, you know how a candle will be bright, and then as it dwindles away and the wax goes away, it slowly dims out. Headlights don't really dim. However, headlight covers have a challenge with the sand and the debris from the road. I don't know if you've ever held your hand out a window, or if you've ever ridden a motorcycle before, or even a bike and had cars go by and that debris. And it's just amazing to me that the front of a car, the paint can take the damage